My life depicted a drama like a movie. 10 years ago, my marriage came to an abrupt end. I did not succumb to the whims of fate, found new love, and built a happy family. One day at a shopping mall, I encountered the hateful shadow of my past, my ex-husband, Theo. He spotted me and gave a sarcastic smile.
Still single, huh?
Theo looked down on me, saying that, but when my current husband, Jason, appeared, his expression froze instantly. What happened between them? Let's uncover that mystery along with my story of revenge. My career as a dental hygienist started after high school. Communication with patients became smooth, and I established a solid position in my field. One day, a man came in as an emergency patient. That man said his tooth hurt unbearably. That was how Theo quietly stepped into my life. Through repeated treatments, we grew close and eventually fell in love. Theo, though busy as an office worker, always stopped by the clinic to enjoy conversations with me. One evening, he waited for me to get off work.
How about dinner together?
That one phrase became the key that connected our destinies. Drawn by Theo's brightness and friendliness, I soon accepted his proposal. I got married at 25, and we started our newlywed life in a new apartment. Theo was an ordinary office worker, but he was strongly determined to make me happy. However, married life was not so easy. Theo's household skills were poor. Cooking and laundry didn't go well, and I ended up taking over everything. What initially seemed lovable as his clumsiness, eventually, for efficiency, I felt it was better to do things myself. I continued working as a dental hygienist, but Theo sought a better workplace and looked for a new job. His performance at the new job didn't improve, and he struggled with relationships too. At home, he complained more about work, saying that his boss doesn't value of his ideas, and that there must be a workplace that understands his worth. He began looking for a new job again. Thus, Theo repeatedly changed jobs, and my anxiety only grew. 7 years after our marriage, feeling unrecognized, Theo finally gave up working outside and started operating stock investments from home. Worried, I asked him, "Are you sure you can do stock investing? Do you know how to do it?" He answered optimistically,
I don't know yet, but looking online it says even beginners can gain knowledge. And you won't gain knowledge without trying, right? Everything is a challenge.
I was worried. But I've heard a lot about failures in stock trading. Shouldn't you stop before you lose money? However, he was full of confidence.
Don't worry, I'm not stupid. I'll stop before losing money. But if I get the hang of it, I might be able to earn easily.
Theo had a tendency to be optimistic about things. That's why he kept changing jobs. However, Theo used the savings we had accumulated together for stock investments. And he did it without telling me. Hey, why did you use our savings without asking? I asked angrily. To that, he laughed and said,
Because if I asked, you'd definitely say no, right? Well, think of it as a little investment in me. I'll make things easier for us from now on.
We didn't save money to use it for something like this. But the investments unexpectedly brought profits, and Theo got even more carried away. Honestly, if there had been a loss at that time, Theo would have quit investing. Using this success, Theo began to take stock investing seriously. He bought several computers for investing, lined them up in his room, and started staring at stock price screens every day. But although Theo said he would study stock investing, he didn't show any sign of reading specialized magazines or anything. He probably misunderstood a little profit as having grasped the knack. Investing without studying led to many failures, and most were losses. I still had hopes for Theo, because I believed that if he had the willingness to challenge, he could find a job he was interested in and return to our previous life. To continue living with Theo, I worked hard. However, Theo betrayed my expectations and sought an easier life. When I came home from work, I saw him lazing around the house, and I spent my days catching up on accumulated housework he never did. When there was even a little profit, Theo would go out at night like a college student. Worried, I asked him, "Aren't you going out drinking too much lately? Is the investment going well? If not, shouldn't you work normally?" He laughed and answered,
If you can earn easily, isn't that the best?
I sighed and said, "That may be true, but I'm saying this for your sake. Investments don't always go well, right? Wouldn't it be better to work and do that as a hobby?" But Theo revealed his anger.
Stop lecturing me.
I quietly argued back. Our current life is sustainable because I work. I want you to go back to your old self. Don't wander around at night, work normally, and let's lead a happy life. Theo said unhappily,
I am doing what I can. What's wrong with taking a break occasionally?
He said that and left the house. One day, I found lipstick on Theo's shirt, and it wasn't mine. Moreover, the misuse of money became severe, and looking at the family card statement, I found out he was buying luxury brand items. He wasn't wearing them, and they weren't presents for me. Were they for another woman? And those payments were made with the money I earned. For 10 years, I had continued my marriage with Theo diligently, but is this my reward? I decided to have a talk with Theo. After finishing work and returning home, I stopped him as he was about to go out. We need to talk.
What is it all of a sudden? I'm about to head out.
It's important, so listen.
Hurry up.
You're cheating, aren't you? I found lipstick on your shirt, and I know you've been buying things from luxury brands recently.
Why are you so nitpicky? You're really annoying. So what do you want?
Holding back my tears, I said, Don't be evasive. Do you know how much I've supported you?
When did you ever support me? I don't remember being supported by you. Rather, you were always nagging me to work.
I said with sadness. It was for you. We might have a child, and if that happens, I might not be able to work. Then Theo coldly said,
A child? How old do you think you are?
35.
35 and a child? Do you know that's a high-risk age?
I desperately claimed. That's not true. But Theo laughed and said,
You see it on the news, right? The dangers of late childbirth. I don't want to take such a risk. If I'm going to have a child, it should be with a younger woman, not you.
What? I couldn't hide my shock.
Actually, my investments have been doing well lately. I haven't told you, but my current girlfriend has been supporting me. So, I'm divorcing you.
Divorce? Are you serious? I asked in disbelief.
I'm serious. The one supporting me now is not you, but another woman.
That's just... I felt despair.
She's obedient to me, so the divorce is decided.
We should discuss this.
It's over. I don't want to see your face. I'll send the divorce papers later.
Theo said this and packed his things and left the house. I just wanted a sincere conversation. I couldn't accept Theo's sudden departure and was in denial for a while. I believed he would come to his senses and change his mind, so I called him many times, but he didn't answer. A few days later, the unavoidable reality came in the form of a letter. The divorce papers. Reflecting on the past 10 years of my life, I meditated. The happiness I felt in my first marriage now seems like a distant dream. The dream of having children and building an ordinary but happy family faded away with tears. But when my tears dried, I resolved to take a new step to change this situation. Fortunately, I have a job. I made up my mind and signed the divorce papers. And 10 years passed. One day, I unexpectedly reunited with my ex-husband, Theo, whom I thought I would never see again. While shopping at the mall, I felt someone's gaze. Then, a man approached with a sneer. It was Theo. Beside him was a young woman and a child. Is that his new family?
Well, well, I never thought it would be you. Long time no see.
Theo's voice had a mix of surprise and some smugness. Yeah, you look well. I pretended to be calm. Theo looked more worn than before, and his clothes seemed outdated. Is that your wife and child? I asked.
Oh yeah, I got remarried and have a child now. This is my daughter Kate. Isn't she cute?
Theo introduced his daughter, and the little girl looked at me shyly. Yes, children are always cute. I emphasized the word children intentionally.
What about you? Still single? A woman who can only have a late child wouldn't have a partner, right?
Theo's words were as insulting as ever. I am remarried too, I replied calmly.
That's a lie. Considering our relationship, there's no need to put on such airs. You're living alone, aren't you?
Theo looked down on me more than ever. No. Actually, I've been busy raising a child recently. Because of that, I even quit my job at the clinic. I answered calmly.
What? You mean you neither have a family nor a job? Is that why you're sad and came shopping? How pathetic.
Theo chuckled. I stared at him and said, Are you even listening? I am remarried and have a child too.
A late child? I can't believe it. If it's true, isn't there something wrong? Where is the child?
When Theo looked around, he saw a child in a wheelchair.
That one? Poor thing,
he said. At that moment, a man's voice said,
Are you okay?
From behind me. It was Jason, my current husband, approaching with our daughter. Oh, yeah. I just ran into my ex-husband. I've told you about him, right? I said to Jason. Theo looked astonished.
Really? You remarried?
He muttered. When Jason looked at Theo, his expression changed instantly.
What? Jason?
Theo was surprised.
Aren't you Theo, was it?
Jason was also surprised.
Yes.
Theo answered in a small voice. It seems they knew each other. So I asked Jason, How do you know each other?
Oh, he has been working part-time at our site for a few years.
Jason answered. Part-time? I was surprised, but Theo was even more shocked to find out I was the president's wife. In the 10 years since I separated from Theo, I experienced a lot. To make a fresh start, I immediately changed my workplace. I renewed everything and began a new life. Fortunately, the demand for dental hygienists was high, and I quickly found a new job. That's where I met Jason. He was the president of a construction company and the owner of the building where my dental clinic was located. Dental checkup and building maintenance wove the threads of fate. Our meeting was not a coincidence, but perhaps destiny. Eventually, those threads turned into a bond of love and we blossomed into marriage. In the spring of my 38th year, I conceived a new life. The following year, I cherished the joy of becoming a mother. An angel-like girl named Lily came into our home. She's now a 6-year-old little miracle.
Mom, look! Isn't that Lily?
My ex-husband's daughter's voice stirred the air.
Lily from TV?
The girl's mother asked.
Yes, she's in my favorite drama series.
Theo, still doubtful, said.
Isn't she just a look-alike?
So I gently informed him. Oh, I haven't introduced her yet, have I? This is our daughter, Lily. She's actually a child actress.
A child actress? Really?
Theo couldn't hide his surprise. Yes, she's been appearing in dramas recently. His daughter's eyes sparkled like stars.
Oh, it's really Lily.
She exclaimed with delight.
A child actress? How could a child like yours?
Theo questioned. How? She wanted to do it, so we let her.
But wasn't it a late birth?
Theo still held his prejudice. You're too fixated on that. Just because it was a late birth doesn't necessarily mean complications. I harshly pointed out his ignorance. Then Jason addressed Theo.
Theo, could we have a moment? Since the children are here, can we talk elsewhere? Yes.
Theo replied quietly, and we moved to Jason's office. The children played in the next room, and we started our discussion.
You know that my company expanded its business and increased staff 5 years ago, right?
Jason began. Yeah,
At that time, Theo was hired mid-career.
Jason revealed. As a part-time worker?
Yes. I heard he had another main job, so we had him work as a day laborer. Isn't that right?
Jason confirmed with Theo, who answered awkwardly.
Yes, that's right.
Are you still doing stock investments? I asked him.
Yes, I am. Sometimes I make a big profit.
Theo answered. But there are also losses, right? Is that why you're working part-time?
That's none of your business.
You're right. It's no longer my concern. I'm just worried about your wife and child. I showed my genuine concern.
How cheeky. But she has been supporting me all along, unlike you.
So she was your affair partner.
Yes, that's right. That's why we have a happy family now.
Theo said confidently, but looking at his wife, she seemed tired. She was 10 years younger than me, but she seemed to be wearing heavy makeup to hide her age. Her clothes also looked a bit outdated, like Theo's. At the beginning of their marriage, she must have thought he was successful in stock trading. For the young her, it might have seemed like a dream. Unfortunately, she chose a terrible man as her husband. That's the price for taking someone else's husband.
So why did you choose this woman?
Theo asked Jason.
Oh, what do you mean by that?
Jason remained calm.
She was 35 when we got divorced. Remarrying and having children after that means late childbirth. What would you do if a child with disabilities was born? Well, it looks like you were lucky this time, but...
Theo persisted with his rigid beliefs.
A child is a child. Whether they have disabilities or not, it's the parents' job to love and raise them.
Jason answered quietly, and Theo, dejected, left with his wife and daughter from the other room. After a while, it seemed like a major shock hit Theo. Jason does not bring personal issues into work. Although he declared that employment would be guaranteed, it is said that Theo self-destructed. Theo was jealous that I had become the president's wife, tried to succeed himself, and invested more in stocks, resulting in a huge loss. To recover from that loss, he got involved in illegal sports gambling and ended up losing all his assets. The amount was $1 million. In the process, he also borrowed money from problematic places. As a result, he stopped showing up at the company and was reportedly running from debt collectors. The company found out because one of them contacted the company about his whereabouts. Even his wife, who had followed him, abandoned him, and I heard they finally divorced. He's now probably being asked to pay alimony and child support. And despite having built a happy family, his actions led to its collapse. It is truly pathetic. As for our family, my husband's work is going well, and we are living happily. Our daughter Lily is becoming more popular as a child actress, appearing in dramas and commercials every day. Thanks to that, I am extremely busy as her manager. While accompanying her to filming locations, my career as a dental hygienist has also gained attention. At first, it was supervisory work advising on the depiction of dental clinics in dramas, but eventually I started taking care of the actors' dental maintenance. One time, I had the opportunity to look at the teeth of a male actor who's a big fan of mine, and I was lucky enough to admire his face close up. We had a lot on our plate, but seeing Lily enthusiastically working doubles my joy as a parent. Will my husband's company soar globally? And will Lily advance on the path to becoming a great actress? Every day is filled with such dreams.